This is my 1937 Chevy Canopy Express that I restored from a ground-up frame-off restoration. It took about 7 years to do it, and it's built to original specifications. It has not been customized. My name is Brian Mueller, and we're at Classy Chev USA in San Clemente, California. Well, I like old Chevys because that's what I grew up with. My father, my uncles, all my relatives had old Chevrolets since the 1930s. And I knew them, I liked riding in them, I felt comfortable driving them, and it was just the old Chevys have been my love since I was a young man. Classy Chevy USA was actually started to sell license plate frames and 55 through 57 Chevy car parts. That was the first couple years of existence. Doing that was out of my garage, and after about 2 years it grew so quickly that I had to rent a building, and then maybe 7 years later get a bigger building. Our main focus is new parts at Classy Chev USA, and it's for the 1934 through 1966 Chevy trucks and 1938 through 1959 Chevy cars. All the different models, and like I said, we have about 3,000 different SKU or part numbers that we inventory parts for. Okay, this back area, this is where they would house the fruits and vegetables, and they would come to your door one day a week. When I was growing up, the fruit and vegetable truck would come on Wednesday mornings. These are the banana hooks. They would hang the bananas down like this, and to keep them from bruising as they cruised along the road. My acquisition of the 1937 Chevy Canopy Express was kind of in air or happenstance. I was looking for a 1939 Chevrolet car. I was on Craigslist, and one popped up. Okay, so some of the work that we did, like I said, we did all of the restoration of the sheet metal. There was some rust in the sides and a little bit on the top. We replaced that with new metal, 16 gauge. We also, it did not have a tailgate on it at all. So we took the lower part of two 37 Chevy panel truck doors, and we welded them together, and then we had a master craftsman woodmaker make the rear tailgate. As you can see in the day, the wood structure is what is the main part of the tailgate. It's a very complex piece to make, and we had that made, and then we made the metal to go around it. I called the person and asked where the car was because I wanted to take a look at it. And he told me it was in San Juan Capistrano, parked at Blenheim Horse Facility, which actually was within walking distance of my house. The next day I met him over there, and he had 9 old 1930s Chevrolets. And he thought this Canopy Express was a panel truck that someone had cut the sides out of. And I realized, because I've been studying these vehicles for many, many years now, how rare that vehicle was. They made very little, and there were about 15 of them left in the world that I knew of or could find. So that day I bought 2 vehicles from him. I bought a 39 Chevrolet Coach 2-door car and this 37 Chevy Canopy Express. We made the new oak bed originally from the factory. They came with a eastern yellow pine that was then painted black. It was more functional, and it wouldn't have been a glossy finished wood like this, but we just decided to kind of jazz it up a little bit and put the finished wood in there. We redid all of the fenders, did the body work on them. A couple fenders were replaced just because they were so torn up by over the years. The metal was thin. So we did replace a couple of fenders, but most of the parts were usable on this truck. The doors are originally from this truck. They were redone. They had fit pretty well. And we redid the interior in GM Sierra Tan Naugahyde, and these are original seats that were in a Canopy Express. They were not in the truck when I got it. There were no seats in it, but we found those, restored them, and put them in. They didn't come with a floor mat because basically these were a work truck. We wanted to keep it original, so decided, just to put a heater in it, no air conditioning or fancier things. We can show you the engine here. The engine is the rebuilt original. We actually put a 1939 Chevrolet truck engine in there, as it had a few more upgrades from 37 that were beneficial to have a truck that we could run and drive all the time. We also updated the carburetor to a new carburetor, which looks very vintage, but which increased the performance and startability, everything on the truck. We also put on some Fenton headers, which were available during that period of time to help the engine flow and get a few more horsepower out of it, so this truck can drive at 55 miles an hour and get on the freeway. This is the classic 1937 Chevy truck grill. This is a reproduction made of stainless steel, and it's one of the toughest grills to install on any of the Chevrolet trucks of any of the years. The fog lights are a General Motors option, and these fog lights are called cat eye fog lights, and they were available beginning in 1939. I liked them the best of any of the fog lights I had seen, and it was common for people, as their truck went on, got older, they would put accessories from later model trucks on earlier trucks. So the tires and wheels are original. The tire size is one size bigger, but the wheels are what's called an original 8-slot wheel used on 1937 and 1938 vehicles, mainly trucks. Hubcaps are reproductions, but to the original standards.
What are these tires that you got?
Tornell is the brand of the tires. It's a reproduction made in the USA. They make a good looking truck tire with the ribbed around the edges, and mimic pretty well what they would have used in the day in 1937. Like I said, just one size bigger. Instead of a 616, these are a 650/16 that are about 1 inch taller than the standard tires that came with it in the day. We did also convert the headlights to a halogen headlight, and we put an alternator on the truck so it would we'd be able to see better when driving this at night. This is Classy Chev USA from the outside. It originated as our museum, but developed over time into where we stored our parts and have our office. We're located in the surf ghetto of San Clemente, California. Nice funky area with all kinds of things. Our yard here is full of some of the bigger used parts, also car storage. We have running boards, we have parts of cabs, parts of panel trucks, doors, and as you can see, lots of different parts that are available for these old trucks. These happen to be a lot of old headlights for the 1941 through 46 Chevy trucks. Some of the running boards, springs, transmissions. It's just soup to nuts. Any used parts that you may need available from Old Truck Heaven through Classy Chev USA.